All right, folks, this is Sultan. On the 31st of October, this billboard of Ricky Gervais appeared on tube stations. Welcome to London. Don't forget your stab vest. And then, after many complaints from people like Nuriyah Khan and all these lefty, wokey, Islamist, Marxist, communist, frankly, it doesn't matter anymore. After many complaints from these people, it was taken down within 24 hours. And in a cruel twist of fate, the very next day, 10 people were mass stabbed by 2 British men of Caribbean descent. No further information has been released at this point, but Islamists / Marxists / wokies, they're all celebrating it, and they're having a sigh of relief, claiming that, oh, they were British born, not Muslims. I don't know how they have figured that out. Not immigrants. Well, they're not white either. So if you're trying to make a case for diversity as our strength, that's not the best example, Bushra. Not terrorism. I don't know how it is not terrorism. All homegrown violence. Now, be that as it may, doesn't make it less atrocious. It doesn't make it any more comforting for those who live in London, who catch public transport, who have loved ones in London. And I don't know how they feel when they send their loved ones to work, kiss them goodbye in the morning, probably not aware whether they're going to come home alive in one piece or not. Nuriyah Khan, you are a London resident. First of all, thank you very much for joining us on such a short notice. Those of you who are not familiar with Nuriyah Khan, please check out her YouTube channel. She is a rising star. I love her videos. I keep sharing her videos with you guys. This is her YouTube channel, Nuriyah Khan. Excellent channel. If you like me, then you haven't seen anything yet. You would love her. She's just a prettier version of me, more eloquent, more well-spoken, and she's a true blue British patriot too. So, Nuriyah Khan, welcome.
Thank you for a lovely intro at such dire times.
So tell me a little bit about it, because we will discuss all the other events leading up to this point. And all of a sudden now they're saying this homegrown violence, as though what happened to Wayne Broadhurst, or what happened to that woman who volunteered to work at Epping Hotel, got stabbed 18 or 20 times by a deranged migrant with a screwdriver. She had volunteered to work there. And there's so many other incidents. I can go through one by one. All of them were committed by non-British born people. And now they're just hoping that we will just sweep that under the carpet or forget about it and just focus on this. Just give me raw emotion. How do you feel just being a Londoner? How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I mean, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying since the Uxbridge stabbing, which was obviously, I mean, that sent a shiver down my spine. I think I actually got really serious about talking about the general situation in London, but also wider England. Like when I did a post about generally how fearful I am and why I steer clear completely of public transport. And I have done so for the last few years, obviously with this, mass migration getting completely out of hand and them not being able to stop the boats. I told you, like, I think last time we spoke on here, I said every single day I wake up to news that more and more boats have crossed the channel, as opposed to them saying they're going to smash the gangs and this and that. You just know if you live here that actually nothing is happening, and the rate at which they're saying that they're deporting people is nothing compared to the sheer number of people who are landing on the shores of Dover anytime the weather is good and the weather permits them. But yeah, what happened to Wayne Broadhurst was just like a stark reminder that as a woman, I already don't feel safe. I don't feel safe enough to take public transport. I rarely go into central London anymore. I never embark on public transport unless I have men with me. I'm fortunate enough to be able to drive everywhere that I need to go, and I make sure that I do that because I guess whichever borough of London you're from, you can see the change before your eyes, and you can kind of see just how much the safety levels have dropped. And somebody like Wayne Broadhurst, who was just walking around and Harris, you have to remember, it was at 5 p.m. Like, that's the time most of us just leave work. I mean, now it's dark because the clocks have gone back and we're entering the winter months, but usually 5 p.m. is considered early evening when, you don't expect something like this to happen in what would otherwise be broad daylight. So he was a true hero. He was just walking his dog and he didn't even live to tell the tale. So when you talk about, kissing your loved ones goodbye, imagine what Wayne Broadhurst's last words were to his wife or whatever, like, okay, honey, I'm just taking the dog for a walk, be back in a bit, never to be home again. And just the more recent incident, which actually unfolded as I was streaming live, and I think you broke the news to us that there was these mass stabbings taking place on a train line. There was a massive football match as well. I think it was Nottingham was one of these teams that were playing football, and a lot of their supporters were on their way back to London. And again, I've just heard harrowing stories of people who were on that train saying that they were just told by other people running down the aisle saying, just run, run, run. People are being stabbed back there. And then when they were just getting off from their seats, there was blood pouring down. And one man said that he had like a bottle of Jack Daniels, and there was a group of them, and that's all they had basically to use as the weapon against this man who was going around just stabbing.
The two of them.
Well, one of them has just been released as the latest that I'm hearing. And just to qualify your statement in the beginning as well, they're saying one was a black British national and the other one was a British national of Caribbean descent.
Right.
I mean, they're both black British nationals then. I don't know why they're being specific with one's descent and not the others. It's very odd. But the last I heard was one of them had been released. Yeah, but then say that, why?
It's Southport all over again, isn't it? When they said he's a Welshman Christian. I had never heard a stabber's Christian religion being mentioned, because we don't hear Christians committing terrorist acts. Yeah, we have a lot of crazed lunatic people who might happen to be Christian, but there's no organized Christian terrorist movement going on at the moment. So there was no need. But later on, it became clear that the reason why they mentioned that was because every time something like this happens, the public's mind goes to, oh, another Allahu Akbar. Now, I know some people are saying that they heard Allahu Akbar. Some people are now saying that a lot of black British people are converting to Islam on a huge scale as well. Look, we don't know. He may have nothing to do with Islam. He may have nothing to do with immigration. He might be a total nut job. I have a video of Ben Habib. I think Ben Habib made a really good point. Let me play that to you, and I want to get your reaction on that.
So I've just heard Inspector Lovelace describe the identity of the two individuals who apparently committed the stabbings on the train from Huntingdon to King's Cross last night. He described both of them as black, both of them as British nationals, both born in the United Kingdom, one of whom was of Caribbean descent, and he ruled out terrorism. And I think the impression he was trying to give in that description was that those of us who are concerned about the assault on our country by illegal migrants and other criminals who shouldn't be here needn't be concerned that this is an entirely domestic British issue. But remember that after the killings in Southport, the brutal killings of those 3 young girls, Starmer described the perpetrator as a Welshman. Starmer indulged, in my view, undoubtedly indulged, in deflection. He wanted to give exactly the same impression that Lovelace has tried to give us this morning about the identity of these two men. Now, it's quite possible that they are, in every sense, British, but he didn't give us their names, and I will remain extremely suspicious until we get chapter and verse on who these two people are. It's almost inconceivable in my mind that this wasn't an act of terrorism. Why would you needlessly pull out knives and kill or seek to kill people, random people on a train? If that isn't terrorism, what the hell is? And this is the major point. Irrespective of the motives of the killers last night, the British people are now daily being assaulted, and significantly by people who shouldn't be in this country in the first place. We need a British political class that is prepared to call out those who commit crimes against the British people, to identify the root causes of those crimes, and then deal with them. Not try and deflect from them, not try and diffuse the issue falsely just to move on to the next 24-hour news cycle in which we get even more bad news. We want this problem dealt with. And frankly, that starts with stopping the boats in our channels, detaining illegal migrants and deporting them, irrespective of the identity of the two people on the train last night. This government needs to wake up to the reality that British people are being assaulted needlessly now virtually every day. Get a grip, Starmer.
Your raw reaction on that, because as Ben Habib said, irrespective of their background, it doesn't mean that Britain does not have an illegal migration problem, or Britain does not have Islamist extremism problem. Because I will show you about a dozen stories that have happened in the last 2 weeks or so in Europe, where people who shouldn't be here, or people who are not native to these lands, have a different political ideology, committing acts of violence against the natives of this continent.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what Ben Habib was saying there. Honestly, Harris, it was like, I'm going to say the far left, since they like the far right so much, but like the far left and almost like mainstream media and I guess the police trying to diffuse the situation as much as possible are almost trying to tell us and gaslight us again by saying, oh, relax, don't worry, it's not an illegal immigrant. Oh, they're not Muslims. So don't worry. Far left are almost celebrating that, oh, it's not the usual
Oh,
culprits that,
thank God
yeah,
it's not us.
exactly. As if that's supposed to make us all feel better. And as if that's supposed to say, like kind of underpin what's happened as something not that intense. Because just by adding the word British in front of them, it doesn't take away from the fact that, okay, as you said, like these could be, most likely obviously are, the children of immigrants, right? It doesn't take away from the fact that even if it's not directly like an immediate migration problem, it's definitely an integration problem, it's an assimilation problem, or there's something where there's certain people from various backgrounds who are more prone to violence than others. But all of a sudden, for the far left, it seems like race is irrelevant, or they don't really care because they don't want to mention the perpetrator's race. So I really think now identity politics is dead. And the fact that they're trying to gaslight us and to be like, oh, look, it's not illegals anymore. So what are you complaining about in the first place? This is a homegrown problem. No, it's still intensely and absolutely symptomatic of what we're saying is the wider issue in the UK. And as you said, with extremism as well, or, whether they try and put this one down to an isolated incident, which is what they keep saying again, to try and keep the public sentiments at bay, that this is an isolated incident, let's say mental health, because we're ruling out terrorism. Notice how quickly they ruled out terrorism. And I like the fact that Ben Habib said, if this isn't terrorism, then what is? Because I think a man going through a train stabbing people recklessly like that, is, if that's not with the intention to cause terror, I don't know what is.
They're saying that he was born in Britain, as though this is a massive get out of jail card. I can give you a list of people who were born in Britain, but that's not a good example of diversity as our strength. Lee Rigby's killer, he was a UK born. Southport stabber, Axel Rudakabana, UK born. Shoe bomber, UK born. 7/7 bombers, UK born. Westminster attacker, UK born. Manchester Arena bomber, UK born. 2019. Yeah, they're all UK born. So if they think that they can get away by saying that, hey, look, he was born in the UK, it's a British domestic problem, no, that problem is not going to go away that easily. So there's that tier one problem, because we've always known that. Anjum Chowdhury's of the world, these guys have been preparing the next lot of jihadis. What's that damning statistic that I found out, Nuriyah? More Muslims joined ISIS than enlisted in the British Army. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
That just tells you how good this experiment of multiculturalism, at least with the Muslim community, is going. So that's tier one problem. But then there's another tier two problem, which is more immediate, which could be rather easier, well, somewhat easier. Starmer makes it look impossible to tackle these illegal migrants. One of them did this. We briefly touched upon this. Wayne Broadhurst. He probably kissed his wife, said, honey, I'll be back in half an hour. I'm going to take my dog for a walk. And this Afghan migrant, who, again, asylum seeker, shouldn't have been here. Illegally, he was here. He was staying at a British person's house, probably refugees are welcome kind of person, who said, you can live in my house, I'll feed you, I'll give you shelter, I'll look after you. And then for some reason, this Afghan migrant had, I don't know, an episode or something, and then he stabbed his own host along with his young son. They run out of the house, and then Wayne Broadhurst comes into the picture. And I don't know, he looks probably 50 plus, maybe touching 60. He lived his entire life. He was a hardworking man. And he paid the ultimate price for doing the right thing. You know, we often ask, where are the good Samaritans? We don't see that anymore. People complain that people are busy filming incidents rather than helping. Well, this is why. Because this gentleman tried to do the right thing, and he paid the ultimate price.
Yeah, he's a true hero. Also, like, it goes against the bystander principle. And Wayne actually tried to intervene when he saw the little kid being stabbed, and the kid had seen his dad being stabbed in front of him. So again, an absolute
Sheer
hero.
terror.
And it's the same thing I've heard from the incident that happened on the train, where this woman was in an absolute state because the attacker had tried to stab her, but a man jumped in front and actually saved her from getting stabbed. And he took kind of the brunt of the knife to himself. So it really goes to show you that in these moments, you've got these ordinary people who are stepping up to the mark and being absolute heroes, putting their own lives on the line, and in Wayne's case, not even surviving to tell the tale. And as you
That
said,
attack
it
was
was
so
you know, the
vicious.
British. Exactly. Oh my goodness. I wish I hadn't seen that. It was absolute relentless stabbing, sheer sheer brutality. And I think it was a British Pakistani family, as you said, who, from the goodness of their own heart, and I would say rather naively, let a stranger live amongst them and in their house welcomed
Were
him
they British
into
Pakistani?
their home. Yeah, his name was something Faruqi, the man who had let him in. So it just goes to show you that all these people who keep holding these signs up and having this exceptionally liberal worldview where you can have open borders and have people in unvetted from other countries and even welcome them into your own home, then this is the kind of thing that can happen under your watch. I mean, they've got blood on their hands by allowing this man to stay there, and he turned on them before he turned on anyone else, as you said. Yeah.
Look, I didn't know they were British Pakistanis, so they didn't do it for liberal views. They did it for their Muslim Brotherhood views, because there is a famous story
I would
in
assume
Islam.
that factored in. Yes.
There's a story of when Muhammad and his few disciples migrated out of Mecca into Medina. Then the Muslims of Medina opened their houses to their fellow Muslim migrants. And that's sold as a really good, virtuous, pious story that this is what Muslims should do to other fellow Muslims. So this poor Pakistani family did the same thing to an Afghan man. Now, again, I'm not saying Afghans are bad people. All kinds of people live there. But why would you risk bringing in a person from a country like Afghanistan where people have pretty messed up views? It's culturally, it's very different. But why would you let them in? However, I was actually somewhat surprised, because I remember seeing this video by one of these YouTubers who were going to people who say refugees are welcome, kind of like Nuriyah Khan people, but almost every one of them said, no, my house is not big enough. So I don't know, like, how far their compassion goes for their fellow migrants, but the concern that they have for their own house, I don't know why they don't extend the same concern to their community or to their country.
I'm just wondering if you'd like to go down on a list saying you're willing to take the refugees into your home.
Of course not. Only problem is I rent.
You rent?
Yeah.
Maybe an issue?
Yeah, because they've got, they've put 9 bedrooms in a 4-bedroom house, so we're pretty much
So, since to actually adopt a refugee and take them into your home?
Well, if I had any space, I would.
If you had any space.
It wouldn't be
Right.
a nice place to bring them because it's a bit overcrowded.
Right.
But yes, if I had the space, definitely.
Thank you very much for that, love. Pop one into your home?
I live in a rental place, so I can't.
Rental?
Yeah.
You can't do it?
Yeah.
Someone else's job?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
You can't take one?
I don't have a
Don't have the space?
I
You have a refugee stay at your house?
Yeah, I don't mind.
You go on the list?
I don't mind, yeah, I can take give me the thing. Oh wait, I can't because my house is only a little small and
Amazing.
This video went viral. I just want to quickly play this video to you, and it also relates to how safe British public transport is. Have a listen to this woman. And again, I have always said, non-native people who support migrants, don't think that when you're weakening your institutions, your country, it's not only going to weaken British society, it's going to weaken everyone, and it's going to impact you as well. This video that I'm about to play to you, she's not a native white British woman. I'm sure she's a British woman. She's a lovely woman. Kudos to her for standing up to her. But listen to her. It can happen to all of you, regardless, whether you're right or left. Those people who got stabbed on that train, doesn't matter whether they were lefties or righties. It is going to happen to each and every one of you. Let's have a look at this video.
I get that, but
I've got a samurai sword. Allah, I want to pull through your hair right now. Do you know that?
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm not here for trouble. I'm here to get home. I have my headphones on.
Do you think everyone there chats like this?
What can I help you with then? So you got my
That's how you
attention.
think, innit?
What can I help you with?
Nah, it's good, but I'm going to ask the question.
Yes.
That's how you move. Everyone can ask the question.
Okay, what's the question? Are you going to ask me the question? Or are you just going to look at me?
Do you feel like everyone trying to ask a question?
Yes, yeah, it happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Wait.
It doesn't matter. I'm not talking to you.
Hold it.
I'm not interested.
Hold it.
I'm not interested. Which part of that are you not understanding?
Yeah?
Yes.
You know where you are, Anna,
Huh?
You know where you are?
Do I know where I'm at?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not acting.
Where are you?
Sorry?
In acting.
Why are you asking me this
Are you
question?
in acting though?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But you got to be out so humble right here, you know?
I'm humble, but you
This
it's 1
Somali
o'clock in the
district, you
morning.
know?
It's 1 o'clock in
It's
the
a
morning.
Mali district, you know?
It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's a
Yeah.
Mali district.
So what
you know?
can I do for you?
Yo, listen, I'm not even giving hard time in it. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that, but
It's
listen,
fine.
you know, it's for life in it, see me?
Why are you
You're
telling me?
lucky,
Why are you telling me though?
You're a girl, no.
I'm just sitting here waiting for my
If you,
boss.
oh no, it's like, I swear to my whole life, if you are mad,
I get that, but
I
I'm
got
not
a
that.
samurai surrounding me. Wallahi, I would
I
have
understand
through
that.
your hair right now. Do you know that?
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm not here for trouble. I'm here to get home.
Bad, not bad. No, it's doing it.
No.
This is atrocious. 1 o'clock in the morning, Acton. This is, if you weren't a girl, I swear. So if that was a man, this guy is walking around with a samurai sword in the Somali district. Sounded British. Am I right? Like he had a local London accent. Is that am I right?
Yeah. This is how London roadmen talk from these ends. Absolutely.
If he had done something to her, that would have been domestic issue, nothing to see. Have a look at this. Chief Superintendent Jill Horsfall has said, I'm aware of footage circulating online that relates to yesterday's incident in Uxbridge. I would urge people to stop circulating this on social media. In order to avoid speculation and further misinformation, we can confirm that the suspect lived in a private residential address. See the wording? Here they're trying to say, oh, no, it's not one of those illegal migrants living in hotels
It's not a HMO. It's not a house of multiple occupants. Yeah.
Because up until that point, people were worked up about that issue alone. Look at that. Suspect lived in a private residential address. Again, suspect. No, he wasn't a migrant. He wasn't an asylum seeker. I mean, I feel bad for them in a way. They're also walking on eggshells, aren't they? Our priority is securing justice for the man who sadly died and the others who were injured during the incident. Sharing this footage could impede future court proceedings, blah, blah, blah. So right after that, look at this. This is the message that they're trying to send to everyone now. Shabana Mahmood and Keir Starmer, no word, nothing on Wayne Broadhurst. And they were putting out this propaganda. I don't want to bore you with all this.
It's all lies anyway, honestly. I don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. She's got absolutely no sympathy. His name was not even mentioned in Parliament. Mainstream media barely touched on this. I think it was either Channel 4 or ITV News, which dedicated, and I'm not even joking, 19 seconds to this story, mentioning him so fleetingly in passing. And I even go as far as to say some journalists I heard just say he died. Not the fact that he was killed or murdered or stabbed brutally. They just said man died. Like, this is why I'm talking about the gaslighting. They're downplaying these things to make you not understand the severity of what's happened. If it wasn't for places like X, if it wasn't for individual independent media people, we would not know what actually happened. The fact that this man was running around the normal suburbs of Uxbridge causing this kind of level of chaos, the fact that that girl was spoken to like that on a normal night in Acton, all of these things, Shabana Mahmood has the audacity to say things like, you know, don't be spreading misinformation and, you know, stop circulating rumors. I mean, that's what she has to say amongst her platitudes, is just stop speaking and stop adding fuel to the fire when the fire is lit and it is roaring.
She went to Greece to welcome illegal migrants who were flooding the Greek shores. She went there to welcome them. And now she wants the British public to know that she's doing everything she can to deport those migrants. When did she quietly change her tune? Because I've noticed a lot of these people are trying to rewrite history. They're trying to wipe off their past, but quietly.
Harris, I don't think she's changed her tune, by the way, at all. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't believe a single word that comes out of her mouth.
So you think she's lying?
Absolutely. On the day, you can come in and secure the borders a lot quicker. You can deport a lot of people a lot quicker. You can do these things if you've got the will to do it. there was shortly afterwards, after the murder of Wayne Broadhurst, there was one of these meetings, and I forget what it's called, but like all the top level officials of the UK, I mean, all of them meet at this. I think it's either annually or biannually or something. Anyway, Shabana Mahmood was speaking there, and there's not actually media and press allowed there, but somebody managed to get a recording of what she stood up on stage and said. And this was, I mean, remember, Wayne Broadhurst has just died, and she's actually laughing and says she makes a jibe at the Reform MP who talked about overrepresentation in advertising. And Shabana Mahmood said, "Oh, sorry, you're going to have to see another brown woman here for a while. I know that, you know, that's not something you like, but here I am." That, and then she said, "I'm a Muslim woman, I'm a brown Muslim woman, but, you know, you might find me on the back of a dinghy sipping some rosé with a cigarette in my hand because, hey, if we can't stop them, you may as well join them." And then she used the word slaughter as part of a joke and cackled when Wayne Broadhurst had actually been slaughtered a couple of hours ago.
Wow.
It was so distasteful. So, yeah, I don't trust a single word she says. I think she's insanely slimy and muggy. And it's just platitudes. It's absolutely false platitudes.
So you don't buy my theory that I think Keir Starmer has hired purposefully a brown woman so they can ramp up these deportations and they can quietly change their tune. And if the lefties or even the typical Labour voters say that, hey, what are you doing? You're violating the human rights of these refugees. You're racist. Then he can say, hey, look, she's brown and she used to be very pro-refugee. So you think that's not what's happening. So they're just going to keep giving this cheap talk and no action? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I think maybe they're propping her up to be the first Muslim female prime minister, if that's something. But genuinely, for every, let's say, 2 people they deport that costs our taxpayers money, there's hundreds coming in. So it's just an absolute false economy that, I mean, she actually tweets every time she deports a person just to make a point of it. And it's literally like one person on a plane.
Yeah,
or
2 people on a plane. One out, 2 in.
Yeah, absolutely not one out, one in, one out. It's literally like, you know, really pushing it 2 out and like 500 in at any given point. It's absolutely not sustainable, and it's not high on their priority. The only reason Keir Starmer is having to show us that some deportations are happening is because look around you. Absolutely everybody is awake to this problem. He's got the lowest ratings of any prime minister in political history at the moment. So he's got to be seen to be doing something.
But he still has 3.5 years to go. I just don't understand how he can keep on going. And I worry. Some people were thinking that maybe what happened yesterday might light the fuse or something. I want to play you a video because what I mentioned early on, this is how ordinary Brits are feeling. Have a listen to this phone call.
Oh, I live in the borough right next to Hillingdon.
Yep.
And so I moved into my house in 2019. My local shop, there's been 3 stabbings, 1 murder since then.
Wow.
My friend was murdered last year up on the high street. Girl I know was murdered in Southall Park. The government are failing us. I'm so scared for my children. I have a 22-year-old son and I'm begging him to move out of the country.
Oh my goodness, I feel for you.
What are these politicians doing to us? They're putting our children in so much danger. They're putting everyone in danger, and they're not doing nothing to help.
And that's the thing. A lot of us feel that you know how many is too many.
They're pushing us to do something that we don't want to do. We are peaceful people. British people never vote against their government.
Yeah,
they're going to push us through it because they're not listening to us. Our friends, our family are dying. I had a cousin murdered 20 years ago who was stabbed to death, and nothing has changed, Julia.
It's gotten worse.
I'm so sorry, Sarah. I'm sure I speak for everyone listening and watching right now. My heart goes out to you, and that's the reality.
I don't leave the house without a man.
You're that worried.
Well, everyone I know is getting stabbed. They're getting raped in parks. This is where I live, not where the politicians live.
Do you think that's part of the issue, that they don't live in the real world?
If you're listening to this, please do something. I'm petrified. I've never broken the law in my life. I've been a law-abiding citizen. I've been a civil servant. Please do something. It's us that are dying on the streets. You talk about being racist. We're not racist. My sister's mixed race. I was a white child brought up in a mixed race family. Nothing to do with race.
Exactly.
It's to do with our safety.
Sarah, I mean, 100%. We agree with you every single word, and I'm so sorry. I'm sending you a big hug over the ether, and I'm sure everyone else is.
Yeah, me too, Sarah. You said the same thing, Nuriyah Khan, that you don't feel like going out without a man. This is what that lady was saying. Is that the 21st century Britain that is becoming more and more Islamized in its own weird way? You can't leave the house without a man because something might happen to you. And actually, having a man with you is probably going to put a bigger target on him, as you heard that lovely British Somali chap on the train, that if you were a man, I would put the sword right through you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's been like these were normal areas where people would raise their families, and you could go and play in the park and ride your bike and go to the corner shop and buy some sweets, and these would be your childhood memories. And these same areas now, I drive past and I'm like, oh yeah, so and so was murdered there. What she mentioned, Southall Park, I have been told maybe 15 years ago by my parents to never go into Southall Park because of the memories they have of the amount of stabbings that took place there, even when they were growing up. So I've never thankfully even stepped foot in that area. But all these areas that she's described, they're part and parcel of Greater London and West London, which had such a decent reputation. But he's not wrong, that British Somali guy saying, welcome to Somaliland, because I will tell you, parts of Acton are mini Somalia. And this is exactly how they talk. I think I've even mentioned to you a couple of times when I was coming back from Central, men exactly like him have said very odd things to me, like, oh, get home safe, won't you? Like, just, very weird, intimidating things where they'll say a comment, or they'll look at you for too long, or they'll follow you for a little bit. And like that woman in that video, you have to be so calm and so composed. I actually would joke to my siblings and be like, I put my hoodie on and actually act like I'm actually mentally insane so that they would stay away from me. Like I'll cross the road and I would literally act crazier than them. But you have to either be so composed, like you're not phased, but we shouldn't be having this fight or flight response just to go out or just to come back home safely. And as I mentioned before, I'm fortunate enough to be able to have a car and afford to drive from A to B. And to be honest, I don't even venture out now unless I have to. And that's not a life I want to live. We live in this city because it's one of the... Honestly, I mean, this London is it's unreal. I'm getting hot and sweaty even just talking about this, because the fear is real. Walking around, every man that you look at, you have to kind of gauge what his... intentions are. And sorry, I know obviously it's like the woman was saying on the Talk TV call, it's not a race thing. You don't automatically want to stereotype people, but as a woman now, I have to consider, if I see a gang of Muslim looking men or men from certain ethnic backgrounds, yes, you bet your right foot, I'm going to cross the road, I'm going to cross it quickly, and I'm going to pretend I'm on the phone, and I'm going to make a big scene, or I'm going to, do these little mechanisms to protect yourself.
Let me play another video to strengthen your point.
Yeah.
This went viral a while ago too. This is another young woman sitting at a train station, minding her own business. Look.
There's no way. Can you leave me alone? Can you leave me? Excuse me? Can you help me, please? Can you leave me the fuck alone?
Another British-born London accent.
Can you leave me the fuck alone? Back the fuck up. You just jumped across the tracks to come and chat to me. Go back to your stuff.
Yeah, that's calm.
What do you mean? Stay away from me, bro.
Let me chat.
No, I don't want to chat to you. Fuck off. Fuck off. I don't want to chat to you. I don't know you from anywhere. Fuck off.
I'll follow you though.
Go away. What is wrong with you?
I'll follow you though.
What is wrong with you?
If you act up, I'll follow you.
What is wrong with you?
Okay, let me say my part.
You've just jumped
Okay, let me say my part then.
What's your part?
I don't know why you're acting like that.
Bro, go away. I don't want to know you.
No, let me know. Let me say
I don't want to know you. Can you go away, please? Can you fuck off?
Let me say my part then.
Fuck off. Go away.
Before I take your phone.
Go away.
Let me take your phone.
You're not going to take my shit. Fuck off.
See, and this is the thing, I'm sorry, just to say, like, because and these moments happen so often, yeah, and like genuinely, the thought going through your mind at that point is like, because he's got his one hand in his pocket as well, yeah, and
Stab
knife
me,
crime
yeah.
in London is through the roof. So most of the times when they approach you like that, they're already very intimidating. They've got their big puffer jackets on, and they do that on purpose. They'll keep one hand in their pockets, in their trackies, or in their jacket, and you don't know whether they've got a knife, whether they've got some kind of machete thing going on in their trousers. Like they're making you, like, you know, anticipate the worst. And as a woman in that moment, all you think is that if this man does something to me, the last thing I've got is like this phone recording of my last moments.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that's what she was doing, like holding her camera in those moments. The exact same thing happened to me coming back on a tube station one night, and again, it was quite late at night, and I just wasn't having any drama because I'd already had a few drinks, so I was a bit more confident. And I remember saying to this guy, I literally said, you better F off and leave me alone as well. I'm trying to get home. And I was with my sister, and after like 3 or 4 times of me saying it really like rowdily, I was like, no, you need to stop, like back the F up. He eventually turned around and walked away. But my sister said to me, she's like, you are crazy that you even spoke to him like that, because if he was armed, he could have just pulled out something and knifed you in a moment, because you also don't know like if what roused them up. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you need to square up to them, and you need to be like, you know, get the hell away from me. What?
Isn't that disgraceful?
It's insane, Harris. Like, what do we need? We need like armed police at every tube station. We need armed police on these national rail like lines as well. That this is the point that we've got to, and I think genuinely.
Let me guess. That guy was non-white. Let me guess that.
Yeah, of course.
Do you feel let down by feminists? Because up until a decade ago, we used to see this debate about don't stare at women for too long, don't approach women, don't ask a girl out more than once, otherwise it'll constitute as sexual harassment. All of those things have gone away. This guy was genuinely in his mind, was trying to pick her up in such an aggressive manner, and he did not understand no means no. You know, like these kind of slogans were very popular, but feminists don't talk about these things because I don't know what's going on. Do you feel let down by the feminists?
Yeah, because as soon as you get, I'm going to say it plainly, as soon as you have ethnic minorities as the perpetrators, they don't want to say it. They'd rather give you some stats about like white men and, you know, the amount of rapes that they commit. But like genuinely in your lived experience, now they can't ignore it. Like even when I go to work, and these kind of shenanigans happen just on the way to work, or we hear this happening outside and we think, all I'm trying to do is go for a walk in the park on my lunch break, because it's just good to get outside. It's good for your mental health. And you see men like that be saying things to you, people shooting up drugs, someone trying to approach you, somebody maybe feel like just weirdos, absolute weirdos, like the bottom of the barrel society. And I come back to work and I tell my colleagues, you can't deny what's happened because you see the same thing with your own eyes, you know? Like I'll tell my colleagues, don't walk through the park, it's gone dark now, like I'll drop you to the station. These are like normal things we're having to do. So I don't know what kind of delusional land these feminists who call themselves feminists are living in when they're not addressing the root cause of these problems, because I'm sure it's part of their lived experience as well.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of these people. Like I obviously hope that it doesn't happen to any one of those, but I often wonder, people like Nuriyah Khan and Bush Sheikhs and these people of the world, I don't know what will it take for them to revisit their position. Is it going to be an assault on them? Do they have to experience something to maybe say, hang on a second, maybe something is broken? There's a lot more of this is happening all across London. This happened in Leeds. A pro-Palestine protest descended into violence. Look at this guy. This video is a true reflection of the state the British police is in. Have a look at this. This crazed Muslim man is standing on top of a police van and shouting Allahu Akbar. He's standing on top of a police van. What is this? Let me show you some more incidents. This is Muhammad Qadir. He's jailed for 16 months after he strangled a member of railway staff over a ticket dispute. It's not just the ordinary public. Everyone is going to suffer. And it's not just Britain. It's happening everywhere. Check this out. This happened in Spain just last week. A migrant suspect has been arrested in Spain, accused of raping a man as he walked home from a nightclub in San Sebastian last weekend. According to the Basque authorities, the suspect, described only as of foreign origin and in his 30s, used a chokehold maneuver to render his victim unconscious before assaulting him. The attacker was arrested 2 days later. Okay? Just look at the level of depravity of people they have imported. This is what happens when you bring in people without police report, without health check, without character references, which is the legal way of doing immigration. It never stops. Kuwaiti Mubarak Al-Mutari, 19, filmed himself sexually assaulting a girl in Market Street, Manchester. He followed 3 girls into shops where he sexually assaulted them. His phone had 4,000 images of kids as young as 8. Look at this. This is the most twisted one. It was covered by German mainstream media as well. A man in asylum accommodation pushed his friend out of a window, and then as he lay injured on the ground, he approached him and then proceeded to rape him while he was critically injured. I don't know, they didn't disclose the background of this guy. Nuriyah Khan, it's not just women who are being subjected to violence and sexual assaults and rapes and all kinds of heinous crimes. Men are getting raped too. This is total madness. Like, there has a society completely broken down. I can't imagine these things happening in Saudi Arabia or the UAE. I mean, there's a total breakdown of social order.
Yeah, and Saudi Arabia and those countries, actually, they know how to set an example, and they don't allow this to carry on unchecked like that. Obviously, they've got their own issues, but I mean, this is like Europe on the brink, and it's all comes back to like that common denominator of these borders being out of control, just having such an influx. And it goes back to your point of, like, you know, everybody who's a far lefty wants to say open borders and welcome refugees until the violence lands on their doorstep or it gets too close for comfort. And I think that's even what the Talk TV caller was referring to. I mean, Jeremy Corbyn, for all of his policies and everything he wants to enact, well, why don't you take in some refugees, mate? See how that goes for you.
Pretty wealthy man too, by the way. He can't have the excuse that my house is too small.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're very happy to turn everybody else's neighborhoods and what were once, you know, nice areas to grow up and have a safe, ordinary life, and they turn them into absolute battlegrounds of these people, having them unchecked. I mean, ask anybody who lives in, you know, well, I guess various parts of the country, but the rate at which HMOs are going up, and you're getting big mansion type properties being turned into HMOs. And I'm sure, as you've seen in Epping, like all these hotels housing migrants, what do they think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen when you do that to a sleepy village of the UK? What do you think is going to happen when you put that into a London borough, which is known for just having, you know, middle class families or working class families, and you throw in a bunch of migrants who have zero in common with the culture, maybe no understanding of the English language? How do you think those girls are going to feel coming back from school, or, you know, having a night out occasionally? It's going to be an absolute mess. And I think genuinely, if nothing changes soon, people are talking about, you know, some kind of revolt against this government now. That is a word I'm hearing more and more, that the government, the social contract has been broken. The government are no longer going to protect you. I was mentioning the other day, like, I'm not allowed to carry pepper spray. And so people have told me to go and buy deep heat and carry that in my bag. But people are saying, screw what we're being told anymore. Things are so bad out there that, you know, there's no point trusting this government and listening to this government and thinking that they're going to safeguard you at any level.
I'd rather deal with the Met Police than get stabbed on a London train. I'm sorry, I just have so many examples. You just mentioned the word battlefield. Look at this. This is Birmingham. Sorry. Fireworks. They're shooting fireworks at a bus. Look at that. They're shooting fireworks at cars and buses. There's no police in sight. Look at this.
Wow.
What is this? Look at this. What is this? What is this?
Oh my word.
This is Paris, I believe. And not only just, it's violent. Look at this. Look at this. This is, oh my God.
That's England.
That's England. This is
London.
England.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is London, most probably
Wow.
East London. Look how dirty. Look how filthy. What happened here? Import the third world, become the third world. Do you agree with that quote? Total breakdown.
I mean, it is an absolute breakdown. And you know what? Like, just, it's sad. It's actually really, really heartbreaking to think that some places like the East End of London, yeah, I mean, I don't even go past Liverpool Street on the tube map. Anything beyond Liverpool Street for me is off limits, because I've just completely accepted the fact that that part of London has been
lost,
for lack of a better word, colonized. I mean, that has become a mini Bangladesh, many parts of Pakistan. Tower Hamlet specifically is like a mini Bangladesh if you step in. And you know what? That's exactly the language that they use as well. You are not welcome here. This is ours. What do you mean this is ours? Did your forefathers build that? That doesn't look like the architecture you have back in Bangladesh. But this is the kind of language that they use. And the saddest thing is that East End history goes back so long, and it was once, like, you know, the hub of actual proper Cockney working class English people, and also like in the mid 19th 20th century as well, like a Jewish quarter of London. And now you go and it's like you've literally walked into Dhaka or Sylhet in Bangladesh. And the fact that they have the audacity, Harris, can you imagine how audacious they are to say, like, this is ours, as if you've laid some claim on that? Like, from which angle is this ours? But most English people that I know as well steer clear. They just accept it. This is fact. We've lost Tower Hamlets. We've lost Whitechapel. We've lost all these areas of East London now. The critical mass has been reached. And so it is what it is.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But have we really lost it? I don't know. We'll probably find out, because I don't know. It's the optimist in me that refuses to accept that this is it, that this is the end. I don't think so. I think the ending hasn't been written yet. I don't know. I don't claim to have a crystal ball to tell you what the ending will be. But this is not where we're going to end the story. Something else is going to happen. Let's hope for the better. Let's hope that this once great country is not lost to these foreigners. And I don't mean foreigners, again, on the basis of what they look like. Cultures. British culture has to be preserved. French culture has to be preserved. These unique, wonderful European countries, they have their own unique cultures. They need to be preserved, and nobody needs to apologize for it. Nobody needs to squirm or mince their words about it. Time to be proud of your heritage, your identity, your history, and anyone who says you're racist or bigot, frankly, I think these words have already lost meaning. On that note, I'll end this right here. And as I said, this wonderful lady that you just listened to, you can hear a lot more of her. She is Nuriyah Khan, and she has her own YouTube channel. This is right here. You can go there, subscribe to her channel. Wonderful videos she makes. She just recently put up this video about joining Advance UK. So, yeah, maybe you can hear more her thoughts there.
Potentially joining Advance UK. I'm still observing, but
Okay.
yes.
All right. Until next time. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.